You don't need confidence to speak. Speaking builds your confidence. I've helped over 100 people do this, spoken on global stages, and gave a TEDx talk earlier this year. But I didn't start fearless. I started shaky. If you're waiting to feel ready, don't. That moment never comes. This is your sign to start, and I will show you how. Most people get this backwards. They think confidence is what you need before you speak, but it's actually what you get after you speak. You don't get stronger by thinking about the gym. You get stronger by picking up the weight. And confidence works exactly the same. It's the reward for taking action, not the prerequisite. That's why when my clients tell me, I want to speak, but I don't feel confident, I say, you're not supposed to yet. Let's get you moving anyway. A few years ago, I quit my job at the United Nations. From the outside, it looked like a dream job. But inside, I felt disconnected from my voice and the work that lit me up. I knew I wanted to help people speak powerfully. I just didn't know what it would take. When I stepped into coaching, I wasn't confident. I was actually afraid of failure. But I took the next step, then another. And slowly, I stopped needing to fake it because I had built it. First, I had 1 client, then 10, then 100. So the first truth, confidence is the output, not the input. I remember working at Normative, a praised carbon accounting startup, and being asked to lead an employer branding initiative across a 100+ person team. I had zero confidence in my ability to pull it off. The stakes were high, people were busy, and I didn't know if they'd even care. But I said yes, created the presentation, and figured it out along the way. And here's what happened. The more I showed up, the more I realized I can do this. Famed neuroscientist Andrew Huberman from Stanford researched that dopamine, a chemical messenger in the brain that plays a key role in motivation, pleasure, and reward, is released after we take meaningful action, reinforcing behavior through positive feedback loops. I see this in my clients too. One of them got promoted as CFO and didn't feel comfortable presenting to the board until she felt ready. We worked on her narrative, her voice, her presence, and when she finally presented, she nailed it. That moment shifted something for her because she did it scared, and now she knows she can do it again. This leads me to the second truth. You don't have to feel ready to start. You don't have to feel like a speaker to act like one. Sometimes you just need to step into the moment and trust that your voice will rise to meet it. In 2018, I was flown to China to host a cultural travel show in both Chinese and English. The script delivered last minute. The setting, plains, mountaintops, stinky tofu stalls, you name it. I didn't feel prepared, but I remembered something I now teach my clients. You don't need to know everything. You just need to show up fully. So I did. I let presence replace perfection. Carol Dweck calls this the growth mindset. She defines it as, growth mindset shows that believing your abilities are developed through effort leads to greater resilience, learning, and long-term confidence. With my clients, I use this approach as well. We don't obsess over mistakes. We double down on what's already working. I mean, that shift alone really helps because when you feel seen for your strengths, confidence doesn't feel like something you fake. Feels like something you remember. And the next truth adds to that. Track the facts, not the mood. Confidence is built on evidence, not emotion, and your brain needs receipts. I track my own progress all the time, not because I don't trust myself, but because I know how sneaky self-doubt can be. It shows up and says, you're not doing enough. But when I have a log of my small wins, from sending an email I was nervous about to showing up on camera even when I didn't feel like it, I can look back and say, actually, I'm doing great. One of my executive clients went from freezing in meetings to giving her first panel talk. That didn't happen overnight, but we tracked her wins together each time she spoke up, led a presentation, or shared her voice. And eventually she saw what I had seen all along. She had become the speaker she once thought she could never be. A study from Baumeister et al. Shows that the brain is biased towards negative experiences. Tracking positive ones counteracts this bias and reinforces a confident self-concept. And the great news is that you can start really small. So small, in fact, that you can't fail, which is the fourth truth. Big leaps are built on small wins. So we begin small, really small. Some of my clients can't even introduce themselves with confidence at first. And that's okay. That's where we start. one sentence, a short self-intro, no pressure, just presence. From there, it grows. I've seen some clients later deliver 5-minute talk, pitch ideas in meetings, and speak on panels. The transformation never comes from skipping ahead. It comes from walking the first step again and again. And science confirms this approach. The concept that micro habits, also known as tiny habits, are a highly reliable way to drive identity change and sustainable growth, especially under pressure. It's closely associated with BJ Fogg and his research at the Stanford Behavior Design Lab. The last truth is that discomfort or fear is part of your growth journey. Fear doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something that matters, that you care about. In 2015, I was moderating an international film festival, 300 people in the audience. I had a double espresso without realizing how sensitive I am to caffeine. Just before stepping on stage, my hands were shaking, my heart was pounding, and for a second I thought, I cannot go out there. But instead of spiraling, I took a deep breath and laughed at the situation. That choice to refrain instead of retreat changed everything. I used that wild energy and turned it into momentum. This is what I tell my clients before a talk. Your nerves are a sign that you care. You've practiced, you've prepped. Now it's time to trust yourself. And you know what? You're not alone. Beyoncé herself shared that she's nervous every single time she goes on stage, and that the butterflies never went away. She just learned how to fly with them. How beautiful is that? This wraps up the 5 truths for confidence in public speaking. Remember, you don't need to feel fearless. You need to move while fear is present. As long as you don't have confidence yet, all you need is courage. Your brain is doing what it's designed to do, protect you, but your mission is bigger than your comfort zone. So, let's act like it. If this was helpful, hit like, subscribe for more tips like this. And if you're serious about building your confidence as a speaker, here are your next steps. Be courageous, track your wins, take the tiniest next step you can't fail at, make discomfort your friend, and watch this next video on how I overcame stage fright when preparing for the Miss Chinese Vancouver pageant, which I won.